The Purpose of Wealth 5. Legacy. Hello, Aluxers, and welcome back to the final episode of our 5-part series on the purpose of wealth. We all want our lives to have meaning, to leave behind more than we took, and know that because of us, even in the slightest, the world is better than when we found it. The final purpose of wealth is to facilitate your legacy. So what is legacy if not eternal impact? Legacy is when you're silent, but your presence is felt. It comes from the highest form of impact one can have. The thing is, you don't set out to build a legacy. It happens as a result of your pursuit of adding value. The more you think about it, the more you realize it's the same with success and even money. All of them come after you do good work. People take notice, and this is the first type of legacy. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Legacy through example. You're writing your legacy every single day. Be aware of what you're writing. How can an individual be themselves if all they do is be like everyone else? You see, there are 2 ways to go through life. 1, by getting on the train of life and riding it in your cabin until the day you die. And 2, by walking, swimming, and riding your way to the final destination we call death. We all get to the same destination, but the value lies in the journey. The second option is always more interesting than living your life on autopilot. That's how new roads come to be. Someone like you decides to create a new path for themselves, and the world is paying attention. If you do it successfully, soon others will decide to walk the same path, but there needs to be a trailblazer, a risk taker, the one who enters the tall grass without knowing what awaits. You can't build legacies by being like everyone else or doing what everyone else is doing. As the people early in the comments know, there's only one reward for being first. Everyone else is a follower. The world remembers those who are first to do it right, those who are first to take everyone else somewhere they've never been. The purpose of wealth is to make sure the legacy you're writing is worth reading, and by doing this, your story is worth saving, for the next type of legacy has to do with saving everything of value. Legacy through preservation. What is the purpose of life if not spending it on that which will outlast you? The more you look back, the more you realize the only things we are seeing is what others have left for us that were able to withstand the test of time. Preservation of value is key. There's a value in knowledge preserved in books. There's a value in art and the way it makes us feel. There's a value in architecture and the way we build the future based on it. There's value in diversity of humans, of animals, of species. Save it all before we're unable to save anything. The purpose of wealth is to give us all a fighting chance to save everything, including ourselves. Allow all of it to thrive, and we will thrive because of it. We draw value from it all, and if one is paying attention, in the last century we've been sacrificing the long game for short-term rewards. If you want to build a legacy, keep in mind to save what needs saving and rid ourselves of that which doesn't serve society, which takes us to the third form of legacy: social legacy. Legacy is not what you're doing for yourself, but for everyone coming up next. The world rewards those brave enough to correct it. In a world augmented by creative ideas, there's no need for hierarchies. We don't need a caste system. We don't need race, sex, religion, height, eye color, or political affiliation to stop us from progress. It doesn't matter if we are or not created equal, for what the world needs is equality of opportunity. Anyone from anywhere in the world could build their future through the value of their ideas. There's a big difference between equality of outcome and equality of opportunities. One leads to society collapsing and the other one to society thriving. It's those who are fighting for the latter who are building a social legacy for themselves. It's those of you who do not let abuse go by without addressing it. It's not what you leave behind for other people, it's what you leave in people. Social legacy comes from the sacrifice of the self for the benefit of everyone else, and that's exactly what we see in the people who've managed to garner social legacy. The purpose of wealth is not to turn you into a freedom fighter, but to give aid to those whose mission is the minimization of suffering in all its forms. Unfortunately, one cannot choose to retreat and stand by, for sometimes not doing the right thing is what allows the bad thing to thrive. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The world is changing fast, so you're either going to ride the wave of change, or you might drown in it. And the best way to secure your legacy is through being the one who brings on the new wave. Legacy through innovation. We referenced Gandhi earlier, and there's a quote of his that drives this point perfectly. First, they ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they fight you. Then you win. They did the same to Elon, and the world will probably do the same to you. Every innovator is in one of those 4 brackets. Are they fighting you, laughing at you? Are they ignoring you? Or did you win? If not yet, keep playing the game until you do. Legacy is when you need no introduction. People know you because you've touched their life in a positive way, and because of it, your reputation precedes you. The world remembers the innovators. You want to be wealthy and leave behind a legacy? Be contrarian and be right. Who cares what they think if you can prove it? So prove it. Prove them wrong. If it doesn't exist yet, then build it. Put your mind where your mouth is, and the world will thank you and tip its hat toward you. Use your wealth to innovate, and your legacy will be long-lived. A society grows when great old men plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit. Your innovations might be the stepping stone for future generations. We need innovators. We need game changers. We need people to throw out the status quo and bring us into the future. Which brings us to the last one on our list. Legacy by Domino. If innovation relies on figuring out a new solution to an old problem, this cannot happen without discovery. Discovery is the first domino piece in a chain that takes us to places we didn't know we wanted to go. The personal computer was an incredible innovation, but it was only after we connected it to the internet that we realized just how big of an impact it could have. But without the computer, we wouldn't have been able to build the internet. Without the internet, we wouldn't have been able to build blockchain. Legacy comes from this layer or domino style of thinking. Everyone who gets rich and makes a fortune relies on one of these layers to begin their legacy. IBM with the computer, Bill Gates with software, Steve Jobs with the iPhone, Sergey with Google, Vitalik with Ethereum, and now people are building on top of that. That's where the saying, "We're standing on the shoulders of giants," comes from, and we've got plenty of giants doing the heavy lifting for us. If you don't have wealth, use the most recent layer to build your fortune, and then use said wealth to open up the future for what's coming next. We might end up living in virtual worlds, exploring space and bending time. We might live happily ever after once we transcend to gods and live eternally as code, and today is part of that journey, and you are part of that journey. So ask yourself, what is your legacy? What will the world remember you by? How can you help to build a better tomorrow? Hopefully this video has served its purpose as a domino piece in your journey. We can't wait to hear where it takes you. And as for those of you still watching, of course, we have a bonus. Everything is a choice. For as long as you live, remember that everything we do is a choice. Everything we own will be a result of a choice we make toward having it. We become what we choose to become. Every single action we take is a choice. We like to think that we have no choice, but you chose to watch this video. You chose to open up the internet today. You chose to get out of bed in the morning. When thinking about wealth and the purposes of which it serves, freedom, security, comfort, progress, and legacy, Most people think of it in terms of a desire, something we wish we could have, instead of thinking of it as a choice. If you want to get really good at playing the guitar, it's a choice that from this day forward you'll practice and study it continuously. In a world where everything is at your disposal, your reality is a choice as well. What we're about to say will sound controversial, but the more deeply you think about it, the more you realize it's the truth. In our world of free information, staying ignorant is a choice. In our world of unlimited teachers, staying unskilled is a choice. In a world of abundance, staying poor is a choice. In a world where there is still suffering, not doing anything about it is also a choice. We want you to take a good look at yourself and make better choices starting today. Practice what you learn. Start small, follow the progress model, and see where it takes you. We will always be here for you, the true Aluxers, to guide you along your journey because, by doing this, it cements our own legacy. Through some serendipitous turn of events, we found each other, and we couldn't be more proud to share this leg of the journey with you. No matter how little or how far you've come, the rest of your journey starts now. If you feel ready to build your future, write the word NOW in the comments. Let's see how big the Alux family really is.